Okay, Helen, we're going to tell the story with this little piece of gold right here.
Bill carried it all through his Army life. He had it in his pocket, and when he came home, I found it amongst his stuff, and he was telling me that he carried that all along. He never lost it. Can you beat it? He never lost it.
And never lost it. Where was he in the war?
First of all, he was trained in Australia, and he said, if you ever want to fight, you go to Australia. They'll train you good for war. Then he went on through MacArthur, they went on through New Guinea, and they took that because the Japanese were trying to get all the islands and everything. But Japanese, I love the people. I love the Japanese that I know. But they were trying, because they had a little island, and they wanted to spread out. So they thought, oh, we'll just go and we'll, get control of these islands, and then we'll have people go there. Well, it didn't work that way. Anyway, MacArthur, they were taking over the islands, and they treated the women, and the Japanese weren't too good. They treated the women, they're terrible. All these awful things that they do to women. But anyway, the Americans went, and there were only 4 of Bill's unit left. Bill and 3 other men. The rest were all killed because they were one of the first ones that went over. Lucky for him, I tell you, we prayed hard.
Those men were all killed in what part of the war, Helen?
In New Guinea.
In New Guinea. Okay, yeah. So where did he go from New Guinea?
Well, he was in New Guinea. Then what happened was he was helping his buddy. Well, first of all, I'll tell you, the first time he ran, Doc was his friend. His name was Doc, and he ran. I think I told you this. And he ran. They were running for a foxhole, and Doc said to Bill, "You're younger than I. Let me have this foxhole." And he jumped in, and he went up in a million pieces. Well, that was fine. Then Bill carried one of his buddies. There were only 4 left in his unit, and he carried one of his buddies back to who was hurt. Back to the aid station, and just before he got there, a hand grenade exploded under him, and that's what fractured his back. Fortunately, it was a wonderful thing that it did, because it sent him back to Australia, and then he never had to go back in the war again.
Oh, that's
but nobody in his unit ever came back.
Huh. And so he brought this back home.
He carried this little nugget along with him. I don't know where he got it. Either someone gave it to him or something, and of course, he had a lot of mementos from the war, that he had. He saved up, the Japanese, if they were killed or something, then he could get whatever it was. But when he was in the hospital with a broken back and a cast that he couldn't get off, he couldn't get out of bed, everybody took a little piece of this and a little of that, and he lost all his little mementos from the war. But he had that in his pocket.
So that's the story of this little gold nugget.
Yeah. Yeah, he had in his pocket all along in the New Guinea campaign. But he said MacArthur was a wonderful person. He would drive in the back where they were fighting. He'd come along, and he'd say, "I'm here. If you need me, tell me," And he always was for his men. He worked hard. He never would send them way out. He was always right there, almost at the front lines for them. So anyway, a lot of people didn't like MacArthur. They thought he was a little bit too much, but anyway, it's one of those things.
Okay.
They said Bill always said if they'd have let MacArthur go, he'd have gone right on, and boy, he'd have conquered everything. But they decided no. Truman said, no, we're recalling. So they recalled him.
Okay.
That's it. Amen.
Thanks, amen. Good little story about the little gold nugget. So what do you do with this gold nugget now, Helen?
I had it one day. I got all the stuff out and I found out, and I have it on the table, and I just put it out here, and it's kind of like a little memento. I think of him, and I go like that. Hey, honey. Okay. I know he touched it, because he probably fingered it in his pocket.
Yeah. Like a worry stone, huh?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It has.
I'd like to know someone look at it, but how
looks
could
like
you tell?
it was a necklace.
Yeah, it has a little.
Like a pendant.
I don't know where he got it. I really don't.
He brought it from here, or he got it in the war?
I have no idea. All I could say was he said I had this in my pocket all the time.
Okay, it was his good luck charm.
And a St. Teresa, the little flower. He had a little, Alice, his brother's wife, gave it to him, and she says, "Here, I want you to carry this with you." And he always gives her credit. That's why Rosemary Ann Teresa. That's where she got her Teresa name.
Rosemary Teresa Ann.
Yeah, Rosemary Teresa.
And then you have an Anne
Marie Teresa.
Is it Teresa?
Anne Marie Teresa. Well, Bill liked her. Oh, when he thinks of, well, one time Bill was, remember, he and his buddy were one of the friends. They were really, in the swamp area, sweaty and everything, and they went and they got in the creek and they're washing, and unbeknownst to them, this alligator raised up like that and grabbed his buddy. Could have been him, because they were no closer than just like that, and took him off. And Bill, he'd had nightmares, and the kid was saying, "Bill, help me!" But you know what? How are you going to do an 18-foot alligator? No matter what he would have done. But this alligator, you see what alligators do? They take you and they sink you, and then they wedge you in rocks till you die, But what happened was, Bill was saying that his buddies and he, because they had so much against this alligator, that they put a big cord, either a cord or something, they put a hand grenade on it, and the alligator came and grabbed the hand grenade, and he went up in a million pieces. Oh, that's it. I don't want to think anymore about it. I don't want to think anymore. Or I'll be having dreams like it. Bill used to have terrible dreams. But one night he had such a dream that he had me by the neck, and I thought, God, something's choking me. And, I was sound asleep, And then all of a sudden I realized it was him, and I did like that one. Fortunately, I was stronger than I am now. I couldn't do it now. But I was stronger then. And he goes, "What'd you do? What's the matter?" I said, "You were choking me." "You were choking me." And so anyway, then he said, "Well, I'm sorry." I said, "I don't think I'm going to get back in bed anymore." Because I said, "I think I'll go sleep in another room," because I was scared to death.
Did he remember what he was dreaming about?
Well, you know what? Charles had an uncanny way of always wanting to watch Mission Impossible. And I think a lot of that had something to do with the Japanese. And if Bill watched it, he would get these recurrences. Yeah, he'd get these recurrences, and sometimes they'd come to the fore, and then first thing you know, he was thinking about it. But anyway, I told Charles, that's the end of your Mission Impossible. You're not going to watch that anymore.
Sure.
When Daddy's not around, you can do it. But boy, when Dad's around, you don't do it.
Was it Mission Impossible or was it war movies?
No, it was Mission Impossible. It was, I think it had something to do with the Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another good story. Thanks, Helen.
Oh. I always felt for my friends that worked up at the chateau.